Some people born with their testicles up.
So wait, because of that, you don't watch Olympics anymore?
It's too woke.
Does bodybuilding still even excite you?
That's, you know what I mean? Oh my God, how can you of all people say that?
That was a tough year for you, man. You went through some crazy health scares, right?
Yeah, I had, it's crazy because I had throat cancer and it hit me. I had a surgery. I had a growth in my throat. It was like the size of a peanut, you know?
Crazy.
And then I went to get surgery done. And then after the surgery, she told me, my doctor's a woman, she said to me, we got it all and it's not cancerous. And then a week later, she said, bad news. We didn't get it all and it is cancerous.
Crazy, man.
So,
crazy.
And it's funny because I was actually supposed to do the Patrick Bet David show, so I had to put that off, right? And then that was February 13th, 2020. And then March 17th, I had a second surgery done. And that's the day that Trump shut down, you know, they shut down the economy and all the COVID chaos really took over with everybody. And the hospital, I was in Mount Sinai in New York City, and it was chaos. Everybody was going nuts. I mean, the whole hospital was upside down. The surgery was successful. They took out, they cut me from here to here.
I remember, yeah. It's crazy, man.
And then they went down, they took out my, like half the inside of my throat. It's funny because if I open my mouth, when you look, like, you know, my throat hole's like this side's normal, but this side's smaller because they had to get out all the, you know, the cancer and everything. And they did, thank God, knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
1 week later, I had a bad bleed. And that's the thing that almost really killed me. It was, I had to go back into the hospital third time. So it's 3 times in 5 weeks time I had to have surgery. The last one was like an emergency surgery, which, you know.
How did you realize you had throat cancer? It was like painful, like your throat was hurting or something?
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, they had to take out a lot of the inside of my throat. It was on the tonsils, so they took out both tonsils. They took out some muscles that help you to swallow on the right side. And then they had to take out my lymph nodes here because they were afraid, they didn't want it to spread, you know?
Yeah.
And it was bad because the bad bleed the week later, I was literally dying, and it closed up my throat because the blood would coagulate, and I was looked like chunks of liver out of my throat. You know what I mean? It was just coagulated blood.
I remember you were telling me that, man. Well, thank God you survived, man. God bless.
Yeah, thank you.
So what's been happening with you, man, in the last couple of years? What's been going on with you? And does bodybuilding still even excite you at this point?
You know what it is? Bodybuilding is just taking such a weird turn with, first of all, you know, I was in Gold's Gym in 1981. You know, I just posted a picture on my Instagram, by the way. You know, you can see me with if you look at that picture, it's with all the people in Gold's Gym, 1981. And you got a lot of Mr. Olympias from Samir Banu to like Chris Dickerson and all, like, you know, Casey Viator, Mike Mentzer, Ray Mentzer, all these guys all in the gym at one time when Gold's Gym was in its heyday, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's the era. Remember, I'm 64 years old, you know, and I was in Gold's Gym when Gold's Gym was Gold's Gym, you know, mm-hmm. It wasn't the Disney World that is now. And, you know, following bodybuilding and, you know, being a bodybuilder myself all those years, that's the bodybuilding I like. Today, every guy's got, like, you know, giant thighs and big friggin' striated asses, and you can't even like the 212 class. There was when pumping iron came around, there was the under 200, which everybody was in, and there was only a couple guys in the over 200, right? Schwarzenegger at almost 6'2" was like maybe 225. Everybody thinks he was like 250. He was not. And when he was bulked up, I think he was 245 at the most. They don't realize at 6'1", Schwarzenegger was literally 10 pounds off of 10, 12 pounds off from competing in what would today be the 212 class, which is insane. And you got guys today, they can't even make the 212 class. Everybody's so big today. I'm 5'6". There's guys my height and under, and they're all, you know, 230, 240. You know, when you look back and you see Lee Priest was 198. Sean Ray was like 198. Lee Labrada was like 191, 192. Right. Yeah, I could keep going. Danny Padilla, all these great bodybuilders, you know, from the era, even Rich Gaspari at one point would have been in the 200 or under class. And today, There's nobody in that. You got girls walking around with 21-inch arms.
So you
It's
don't
not
like
the
this.
sport that I fell in love with.
You don't like that. You don't like the heaviness.
No, I don't. I'm more of a bodybuilding purist, and of course, people will be like, "Oh my God, how can you, of all people, say that? Look what you did to yourself." I didn't go around trying to compete like that, you know what I mean? And I never thought that looked good, you know. It looks like I get it, you know what I mean? I'm not going to debate that, but the bottom line is, you know, you lost the beauty of the sport. I think it's now just so that they're just adding new categories, and today you can get your pro card on the back of a milk carton, you know?
Speaking of that, I mean, the whole arm thing, right? Obviously, you're known as the man with the biggest arms at one point. Right. Then you were known as the man whose arms exploded. Are you tired? I know I ask you this question like at least twice in our interviews. People can go back and see it. But are you tired of defending the fact that you did not use Synthol in your arms? Because people still don't believe you. Probably.
I am tired of it. You know what it is? It's been, you know, like 20 something years already. You know?
Right.
You know, so, and I still get people asking me, how's your arm? You know, it exploded. Are you okay? First of all, my arm never exploded. Right. But the whole thing is, and I get it. There's people out there who will be like, I don't care what you say. You know, I was dumping whole bottles of, you know, testosterone. Monday, I do a full bottle, you know, 10 cc's, 200 milligrams of test, right? To Wednesday, and then Friday. So that right there is 3 bottles of test alone. Right. You know, and that's oil, and it's, you know, whatever. Don't believe me. I don't, at this point of the game, I don't even care. It's hard to argue with people. I get it. But it was one bicep. That one bicep I drained, that was a hematoma.
You got infected. You got infected, you told me, yeah.
Right. It wasn't, it was a hematoma. It was blood. Right. I didn't take pus out. I can send you the video if you want. You can put it up. It's just, you know, it's like 45 minutes of just me draining blood. And I filled a big thing like this. And I get it. You see that arm, and they put it up there. So I'm the poster boy for Synthol, whatever. Right. But I'm past that. Do you know how long ago that was? You know what I mean? That was a long time ago.
I know.
And that's why when I worked for Muscular Development magazine and I wrote the most popular column, you know what I mean? Ramblin' Freak.
Ramblin' Freak, yeah, classic.
I used to tell Steve Bleckman, I don't want to be known. It's like, don't keep putting pictures of me with the big arms, and I don't want to be known for that anymore. You know what I mean? People like me more for, you know, the way I talk, tell it like it is, story, you know, and all the, you know, the stories I tell, and, you know, my experiences. That's what
the best stories in the business, for sure. So speaking of MD, what happened, man? Like, you know, it seems like just one day they made an announcement. Not even they made an announcement. Basically, people who work for MD said, hey, they gave us one day notice that the magazine is shut down. What do you think happened, man?
Well, you know what it is. Social media is destroyed bodybuilding. I mean, if somebody, you know, if the current Mr. Olympia, Derek Lunsford, if he threw a fart today, it's on social media. Derek Lunsford throws a fart. You know, in the old days, you had to wait for the magazine to come out. You know, when I was young, I used to call Gold's Gym. Who won the Olympia? They would give me the whole, you know, I couldn't wait for the magazine. So the magazine's like Sunday's news on Monday. You know what I mean?
No, but they transitioned into online publication as well.
They did, but I think that Steve Bleckman knew that the power of social media, it's hard, you know, for all the, you know, for the websites, you know, even yourself generation. I mean, you guys are pounding it and making it happen. But there's a lot of the little, like Iron Man magazine, you know, Muscle Mag, all those it's hard for them, not just the publication, but even the online. You know, you know, I feel like they didn't diversify. They didn't go to the level. You're like your interview. You got like you're hitting every aspect of bodybuilding.
Sure.
You're still just one way. They wanted to talk about, like, let's talk to just Mr. Olympia and see what his contest prep was like. That's like a snooze fest. That's everywhere on, you know, on all social media. So now you guys come along and you have, you know, you did the story time with me. You do all these other interviews with every aspect of the sport. So I think that they can't hang with the big sites. They're too old school. They're too into, like, you know, let's talk to Derek Lunsford and see how he won the Mr. Olympia. Let's talk about his Olympia prep. That's, you know what I mean?
But do you think that could have, do you think, I mean, under the right management, that could have been saved? Because if you think about the legacy of MD, right? Mm-hmm. They had something that a lot of people don't have in the business. They allowed other people to come in, right, and kind of take over the spot. But do you think under the right management, they could have saved the situation and continued as an online publication?
I do. I do think that. I do think, but see, here it is. I'm a loyal to Steve Bleckman. I absolutely the man, I can't say a bad word about him. I love him. Okay. But it's like, I'm a huge, you follow baseball. I don't know if you follow, I'm a huge baseball fan. Okay. But sometimes you can't have the old school managers come in and
Of
just
course.
sometimes it works. Like I got a nose for put him up in the last inning because things like, today it's analytics and everything else. Steve had too much love for the game. You almost have to look at it more like step back and let's see what the next direction is. Let's go in that direction. And I felt like if maybe he would have handed it off to somebody and maybe just been like the owner of the magazine, instead have somebody new come in and go in a direction
Of course.
that's different. You're not over here, just like I said. What makes Generation Iron work, and I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, is you're very diverse. You're all over. You cover the whole mushroom of it. You're not just sitting here. Well, we're going to cover what's Mr. Olympia. And Steve was still into the whole.
Did you talk to Steve after the shutdown? Did you talk to Steve after the shutdown? Did you get a chance to ever have a conversation?
I've talked with him, but not about that. Like, when I was in the hospital, the man called me, recently when I was just, had the gallbladder removed, and I almost died from that shit too.
Damn,
not from the gallbladder, I had a stones stuck in my bile duct and it backed up and, it almost killed me. But he called me. When I talk to him, I like to talk to him as a friend. I don't like to talk to him about business or which way the magazine is going.
Absolutely, of course.
But you can't, when it's a new horizon in bodybuilding. It's different now. It's not the same. So you kind of need to get a more, with the Yankees, we need a new manager, a manager that thinks a little bit more the way the game is played. It's a different game than bodybuilding is a different sport than it was back when, Victor Martinez and I were just, starting out with muscular development in early, 2000. You know what I'm saying? It's a different animal now. So, I think that you have to diversify your thinking. I think, just like baseball, now in the 10th inning, you got a guy on in second base and you can't, with all the new rules, the 20-second rule with the pitch clock. And it's not the same game. If Babe Ruth came back alive today, he'd be like, well, wait a minute, this isn't baseball. What's this 20-second rule? What is this stuff with a batter getting a step out? And,
right.
Or you can walk a guy without throwing 4 pitches. It's a different, so you have to diversify, and I think that if Steve would have handed it off to somebody, you know what I mean? He might still be there.
I agree. Speaking of sports, did you see the Olympics this year? Summer Olympics?
It's sad because I'm the biggest Olympic guy. I love, because my sister was a track and field star. I used to run track and field. I love all of that stuff. I love gymnastics, girls gymnastics, guys gymnastics. I love boxing. I can't watch though. They turned me off on it. They made it it's too woke. You can't.
The whole opening ceremony thing.
From the opening to having, male boxers in there. Don't give me that that.
Greg, that was disputed. I know you're talking about the Algerian boxer woman that people say she was not a woman.
From China. I think 2 men fought for the women's champion. Look, dude, I'm the first guy. I don't care. I got tranny friends. I'm around with a tranny. I don't give two shits. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. But they need a league of their own. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but I think that it was disputed that was not a trans woman. People said they made a mistake, and it was actually a woman.
They played a game. It was what happened was they're trying to claim that person was born basically intersexed, had a vagina with a penis, she's an XY. Do you understand what I'm saying? So she's failed the test before for fighting women. Supposedly just the only, some people born with their testicles up. You understand? I know that sounds fucked up. Like somebody they call intersexed, basically has almost like a penis and a vagina.
But is that a fact, or is it just a guess? Because
I think that's what their country's trying to say because she represented Algiers and they're like, oh, no. But she did fail a test for that chromosome thing. And, they're saying, okay, she was raised as a female. I don't know about that, but whatever. She was raised as a female because when she was born with a vagina and this and that, the other thing. But it was, and an elongated clit. But it wasn't the case. When you Google and really read into that, it was that she was born what they call intersexed, where the balls are up. I still believe she was born a guy.
You believe that?
I don't, what I mean? Like, hey, look, XY, XX, XX, it's a girl. XY is a boy. It's not the chromosome. You can't listen. You can pump. I just watched a fight. Follow me on this. I just watched a fight with Gabby Garcia, who's a You know who she is, right? You big time jiu-jitsu girl. Okay, she's over there in Brazil. She's 6'2". She just showed they just did a funny video because Nate Diaz was like faced her off, and he was like, "Okay, this," and he walked away because she's huge, right? And she takes steroids and everything, but she just lost a jiu-jitsu match to a guy who was a lot smaller than her and everything else. And she's a monster. She's a monster. You can give women testosterone and can convert them into the men. Okay, you could do that if you want. But it still doesn't mean, it's not the testosterone that makes a man. It's his structure. It's his bone density. It's the whole skeleton of a male that changes everything. If the hottest looking tranny, and I can show you some that you would not know, okay? Go to the clubs, in New York City, go to some of the clubs, you'll see these girls, the hottest girls in the club, some are. But if they died and you buried them, or the club was on fire and they came in and they looked, they say, "Oh, that's a skeleton of a man." You understand?
I'm not denying that men and women are different. What I'm saying is, I think they made a mistake about this girl, and they accused. No. I'm saying they accused her of being a man, while she actually wasn't. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it's being. I think it's actually being disputed right now because she's actually suing a bunch of people. For those rooms.
She's suing because of what I read and was told, she's suing because she was born with a vagina, and I think her family raised her as a girl. That's what I think she's saying. But I believe she was tested and disqualified from like World Games or something because she was tested chromosome-wise.
I've heard about that, yes, but it was also a little bit corrupted as well. I heard that test was. I don't know. You know what? I mean, ultimately, we'll find out eventually what happened with that story. As of right now, I'm not quite sure. It seems like people might have made a mistake, but so wait, because of that, you don't watch Olympics anymore?
It's not that. It's the way they're shoving shit in my face with that. Do you understand? Not just that. That's a small piece. That whole Olympic ceremony, what do you need to do stupid shit?
Right. A lot of people are very upset about that.
Yeah, I'm not I don't like all that stuff. All that drag queen reading to kids and do it great. Now you have them they're shoving it in your face. They're saying, "You're going to like this," and shut up. You know what I mean? Like they're making it so you don't have, you don't have a choice. Let's what happened to the days of, like Muhammad Ali or somebody running with the torch and, making that like the big ceremony. Now it's just like the Super Bowl. They got to be more outrageous every year. Whose tit could drop out of a friggin', you had Michael Jackson's sister there, Janet Jackson, her tit fell out, and you have all these other. Look what they did at the last Super Bowl. They had something like that where they had some gay dude come out dressed like a friggin', whatever, like Satan or something like that. What are you guys doing? What are you doing? This is a sports event. I don't need your political shit shoved up my ass. I love Olympic sports. I do, but you turn me off on it. You know what I mean? It just turns me off. I
hear you. That's your opinion, of course. Who do you think is going to win at Mr. Olympia this year?
Listen, if I can at least play second to Arnold, I'll be happy.
What is your favorite division to watch?
And they keep making these other divisions.
You don't like Hadi's physique?
Who the f*** is that?